We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Bell Tower, and Worthen. Fans all over from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Concannons, Carters, and Greeks.
All right. Hello, everybody out there in Cardinal land. Welcome to the newest edition of Ball State of the Union, brought to you by myself and Colin at Ball State Football Talk on Twitter. Here at Ball State of the Union, we're talking all things Ball State football. We are the number one Ball State football podcast, as you saw by Front Row Sports, number one Ball State football Twitter out there, even though we don't have Twitter. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, and be sure to follow us on all of the social media platforms that we have, our respective Twitter accounts, Instagram, Facebook. Be sure to like the videos, comment on them, engage with us. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how excited you are for football season. And as always, Colin, I don't want anyone to ever forget this. We're talking Ball State. Colin, we've had a busy week. Lots going on since we last spoke. Last week we had Jeff Mitchell on, athletic director for our Ball State Cardinals. Thought it was a great episode. How was the response that you had from that episode? And any last thoughts you had about our conversation we had with Jeff?
Yeah, that was a really informative conversation for the real college football nerds like me. I liked it. I thought it was great. There was some good information on the new ruling on the House v. I forget exactly what the name of the ruling is, but he talks all about it. Yep. And then he talked about the Ohio football claim to the Sun Belt. And we already knew that was a load of Yahoo, but it was nice to hear it from Jeff Mitchell himself. So there's a couple things in there that we talked on. A new CVC equipment sale coming soon. The possibility of some ideas we threw at him. He seemed pretty, he took it in, gave us thumbs up, thumbs down. It was a fun segment. I think it was a pretty great episode. And I think I can safely say he is a Ball State of the Union friend of the show.
Yeah, I would say so. Colin even made sure while he had Jeff's ear to throw out some scheduling requests. He was like treating Jeff like he was a waiter at a restaurant and ordering what he wanted to see on the menu here in the coming years. But yeah, I thought it was great. The big question that I had going into all of this, that he would specifically be able to answer. Obviously, there's some stuff that he's not going to be able to get into, and that's fine. But the one thing I was really curious about was what's the status of this Northern Illinois rivalry in football, and the extra importance now that it adds to that bronze stock game this year. I want to win it. We got to win it. We have to win it. But anyways, before we go on, I wanted to show the people out there, the fans out there, we have a busy rest of the month, Colin. I got a little calendar going here. And as you'll see, you already know who our guest is today based on clicking on this video. It's our great friend, Chris Radican, Ball State radio football analyst. But here is kind of the rest of the month that we have so far. We got some good stuff coming up. So we have Chris. It's coming out today. As you see this, it's Wednesday, August 13th. We actually have a bonus episode this week. We're going to be speaking with Cade Hampton from the Muncie Star Press. He covers, high school sports in the area, and then he covers Ball State as well. So he's been out at fall camp as well. I'm interested to hear his insights on what he's seen. And then next week, Chris's radio broadcast partner, we got the voice of the Cardinals. We have Mick Tidrow joining us. And then that gets us through to game week. Wednesday, August 27th, we're going to be sitting down with Boiler Breakdowns to do a review of the Purdue Boilermakers. They're going to be giving us their insight on all things Purdue and what you fans out there can expect for that game. And then we get right into game day, the day everyone's been waiting for since, last late November. The Ball State Cardinals will be back on the field August 30th at 12 p.m. at Purdue. And we're going to have a Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, spaces immediately following the game. Colin and I are going to jump on there and kind of talk about what we saw, give people that space where they can come in and kind of vent or not vent. Maybe something awesome happens that day. I don't think there'll be much venting regardless. It's the first game of the Mike Yurmavich era. I think there'll be some positivity coming out there. So it'll be a good space for people to come in. I don't think there's ever been anything like that, Colin. Have you ever seen anything like that where Ball State fans can kind of hop on and talk immediately after something?
Not for Ball State. Like a lot of things we're doing today and with this show, we're breaking new ground for Ball State. I've never seen a Twitter Spaces for Ball State. Maybe for the MAC, maybe for Toledo, maybe for Ohio or like some I don't know, but not for Ball State. So we're blazing a new path. We want to see the people in there that are commenting on the videos, liking the videos, showing love on like Facebook or sending us out. If you're a dad of a player, make sure you attend that. That's going to be a lot of fun because I'll be at the game. I'm literally driving home. I'll be on the spaces, paying attention, making sure the music's low so I can hear what everybody's saying, the feedback you guys have. I'll have some feedback too.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, everyone be on the lookout for that. Those Twitter Spaces right after the game's over. We'll get the links out there for everyone to hop on, and then the next day we'll do more of a formal sit down kind of what happened in the Purdue game, good or bad. Maybe Colin's experience at the game. I know I went to the game back in 2010 there, and the fans weren't too welcoming to us Ball State Cardinal fans. So Colin, you might be in for kind of a rough day, but that is the rest of August, and then once the end of August gets around, once early September, we'll get the schedule out to you for that as well. We're going to have we already got an interview lined up with some of our friends down over at Auburn, so we'll have an Auburn crossover episode as well. So we got a lot of fun things coming our way here, Colin. I know you're pretty excited about it. Colin's ready to jump in and keep talking ball with everybody.
Even there is one interview because I know in the last episode, if you guys were closely watching, we kind of hinted, oh, we got another player interview coming up, but they couldn't do this time slot. So that is still coming, but we don't have it on the schedule just yet. We just know we've got another player interview. It's a chock full month. You get the best Ball State content here. Make sure you're subscribed.
That's right. And hey, before we jump into our interview with Chris Radican, there's one other thing that I saw this week that I thought was noteworthy, and I think maybe it started a week or two back, but I figured it was time to kind of bring it up as it's happened a couple times now. Colin, I know you are tapped into Ball State as well. Have you seen any of the videos that Ball State All Access on YouTube has put out? Mick Tidrow has been putting them out there of him doing these position reviews where he's going in with a player and a coach, and they're kind of running them through some drills. Have you seen any of those yet?
I have. My favorite one so far was the one with Shaq and the tennis balls. I'm actually teaching high school or coaching high school football with wide receivers. So I literally asked my head coach as soon as I saw that, I'm like, hey, do you have some tennis balls that I can borrow to try to do? Maybe not during like offense indies, but I'm actually planning on stealing some of that. So that's good stuff they're putting out there, and it's been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I was watching one earlier. Actually, we're getting ready for the show. They got my guy Mick. They got him backpedaling. They got him running drills here with the defensive backs today. So I've enjoyed watching those. So Mick, you're great. Maybe the best radio play-by-play guy I've heard. I don't know about defensive back though. Maybe we'll stick to the microphone instead of the defensive backfield. But
no, John, look at that form.
Oh, yeah, let's bring it back.
Look at that form.
He's ready.
That's solid. That looks good to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Put some pads on him.
Colin's a coach, I guess, so not me. But anyways, so Mick, maybe we'll ask Mick about that next week when we have him on. But anyways, Colin, do you have anything else from this week that you've noticed from around the Ball State football team? If not, we'll just jump right into our interview with Chris.
Nope. I'm excited to hear from Chris. Really one of the best friends of Ball State of the Union, friends of the show. I mean, our first guest, now a 3-time appearing rock star. So, yeah, there's a lot of friends of the show. I mean, Dave, of course, Joanna Edwards, Sidelines, Willie Sneed, Kyle Kelly, Drew Plitt. The whole community is there, but this is a true friend of the show. So it was nice to hear from Chris again.
All right, everyone. Here is our great friend of the show, Chris Radican. Our favorite reoccurring guest is back, Chris Radican. You know him as former Ball State offensive lineman, high school football coach, and now the radio analyst for your Ball State Cardinals. He's been out at fall camp a handful of times already, seeing the team up close. He's got plenty to share about position battles, standout performances, and just the overall vibe of the team right now. Chris, thanks for joining us. We know you are on a golf trip up in Michigan. So thanks for breaking the time for us. How have you been since we last saw you?
Doing great, guys. Again, honored to be asked. Every time you guys ask, I'm like, heck yeah, let's go. I get excited to come on and talk with you guys for a few minutes or however long you want to be here. So, again, it's my pleasure. I love to come on and talk ball all day, especially Ball State football.
I love it. Not only our most appeared guest, but also our very first ever guest. So again, thank you for coming on. We appreciate having you. Yeah, first ever guest. And guess what? I just tweeted something. This will be posted tomorrow. So this will be posted on Wednesday. I posted a schedule, and for the first time, we've let the world know. Actually, our guest next week is none other than your radio broadcast partner, Mick Tidrow.
He's the GOAT, boys. He is so good. He is the straw that stirs the drink. Without him, I would be living in a van down by the river. That is a fact.
So, hey, all right, well, perfect. Hey, well, let's jump right in. As we're talking the other day, you said you've been to a handful of fall practices. Opening impressions, what are the first things you've noticed? Maybe that's different from the spring to this fall, or it's different from last fall to this fall.
Yeah, so great question, Johnny. A bit of a roller coaster in fall camp is what I would say. I've seen some really good stuff and some really bad stuff, and I think Coach Yu would agree with me on that. Let me say this: that dude is unbelievable. I am nobody. All right, let me get that out there. I am zero importance to this program, and every time I go to practice, he makes a point to come over and talk to me for about 6 or 7 minutes straight while practice is going on. He wants to know my feedback. He wants to know what I think. He wants to make sure I know what they're doing that day. So it's great to get to talk to him and get to know him. I was able to go. My wife and I got invited to the cookout the night before fall camp ended. So we went. My wife sat and talked to him for 20 minutes. She adores that guy. He is wonderful. So my point to all that, guys, is this: a bit of a roller coaster, and I know Coach Hugh would agree with me on that. Is they've had some really good stuff offensively and some really bad stuff offensively. Defensively's been a little bit more consistent, a little bit more. They're kind of hitting their stride a little bit early. Not uncommon for this time of year for defenses to be ahead of the game than an offense. So, but I've seen some really good stuff. Now, the past 2 practices I've been at have been great. I am seeing some great things from the offensive line, and especially, boys, the quarterback position. I'm seeing some really neat stuff out of that position. So,
okay, that's good news.
Yes, it is. Guys, I had a little bit of a Chicken Little complex about 10 days ago. I thought the sky was falling. I really did. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And what I saw in the past few practices and what I've heard from other guys who've been at other practices that I haven't been at, I've seen really good quarterback play. Really good, especially, and I heard today was especially good by the quarterback. So I wasn't there.
I am a Kyle Kelly believer. Probably
You should be
the biggest of the show. Besides you, Chris, but me and John, I probably am slight edge, more of a Kyle Kelly believer than John.
So, Chris, when you say quarterback play, is that just Kyle? Is that the quarterbacks in general? Kind of.
Great question. So, in my opinion, there are 3 quarterbacks right now that could play for this team. Okay, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I am not blowing smoke. I am not trying to snowball you guys or anything like that. There are 3 quarterbacks that can play for this team on a Saturday afternoon, and that is, in order, Kyle Kelly, Walter Taylor, and Aiden Leffler. All 3 can play. The rise of – let me start at the bottom. The rise of Aiden Leffler over the past 365 days has been astounding to me. As a former coach and feeling that I know what I'm talking about when I watch players and their improvement, it is night and day from last year. He is – his footwork, his arm, his release, his ball placement – the way he moves his body in the pocket and on handoffs as well, and the way he runs the offense has been great. Walter Taylor, guys, as we know, is just a freak of nature, size-wise and athleticism. I saw him the other day. They ran an inside power quarterback run with him, and he squared up on Joey Stemler, who I think is one of the better linebackers in our conference. Squared up on Joey and darn near ran Joey over. And Joey, you can yell at me later, buddy, if you watch this. He did. He got you. He got you on that play. So. And that happens. And Kyle has shown that he can run this offense. What they're trying to do offensively, schematically, he can run this offense. He's really solid. Really solid. Okay. His ball placement, his throws, the way he's putting the ball on the receivers and things like that has been dialed in. I'm real proud of Kyle. So,
Chris, what do you think the run to pass ratio has been? Is it 50-50, 60-40?
Oh, no. Well, I would say probably 60-40 right now. Probably
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of wrinkles that have been they're trying to iron out in the offensive scheme. So they're throwing it a little bit more. The run game's going to come together, but I would say 60-40 ish, right around in that area. That's safe to say.
Okay.
So
So this kind of segues right into the next thing I was curious about. Obviously, the first name that kind of popped up was the quarterbacks and Kyle Kelly specifically. Who are some other breakout players that you've noticed so far in fall camp?
Yeah.
Just across either offense, defense, just anybody.
Well, guys, we got a Ty Robinson sighting. I can tell you that,
Yeah.
which is really, really exciting for this offense. Ty's a veteran. He's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. He's an outstanding wide receiver football player. Ty looks great. I'm going to say, and we all know Eric Weatherly's going to be a playmaker for us this year, right? He's a man amongst boys out there. Truly, when he's running routes, catching the ball, he's going to be a problem for defenses out there. But the kid that has really struck with me. Well, let me back up. Keon Magwood's been wonderful all camp. Everything I've seen him, but the kid that's really struck my fancy a little bit is Daya Patel. Daya Patel has shown me some really neat stuff in the way and the ability to run routes, catch the ball, get yards after the catch. His ability to be physical and elusive as well has really been something to see. So I really like Daya. Does that mean he's going to make 25 catches? I don't know. We'll see. But he's got to be a guy that mixes in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And then let me back up.
Yeah,
The running back room is. I think it's a 3-person race with Elijah Jackson, Quay Ashley, and TJ Horton. Those three all look kind of like if it was the Kentucky Derby, they'd be a close 1, 2, 3 with Quay Ashley being number one, and I think Elijah's right behind him, and TJ gives you a different level of different skill set. So TJ looks good as well. So
okay, because that was going to be the one of the other questions aside from who the starting quarterback was going to be, which we got that answered a little while back now, was kind of next was going to be who's the starting running back going to be. And so it kind of seems like it's still up in the air a little bit. Are there any other position battles right now that we're still trying to kind of wade our way through? I know you in the past were pretty curious about what was going to happen at tight end. Is there anything on the defensive side that you are still trying to figure out? What are some position battles that people can still win between now and that Purdue game here at the end of the month?
Yeah, so let me start at tight end. That's a great question. So all spring long we saw it was the Drew Casson show, right? And Drew did a really nice job this spring. He was really solid. But I think what they saw the growth out of Cam Anthony and the new kid Kobe Gross out of Florida A&M, a Florida State kid also. So Cam Anthony and Kobe have been what I would say they're 1-2 punch in tight end when they're in their king set, which is a 2 tight end set, or queen, which is also a 2 tight end set. It's definitely Cam and Kobe all day long, every day. And then Drew is a nice supplement. Jackson Constantine has been a real nice surprise after moving from linebacker to D-line and then O-line, now tight end. They finally figured out he's a tight end because he's such a good run blocker. So he's going to mix in as well. So, what we went from in the spring was almost an empty tight end room to now they're probably 4 deep on a Saturday against Purdue on 2 Saturdays from this weekend. So, defensively, I've seen a D-line group that continues to dominate up front, continues to be active and aggressive and get off blocks and really be problematic for the O-line. The linebacker room has been really solid with, I think it's going to be Joey and Jack Beebe starting with Caden Johnson and on the outside, and they are – the best way I can say it is just big, strong, mean, physical kids. You know what I mean? You talk to them in person; they're just super nice kids, engaging. But when they are on the field, they are all business, and they are filling right now. They play with a sense of aggressiveness that we haven't seen in a couple years. So it's really impressive. Back end solid on the defensive side, guys. The back end is really solid. We've got a lot of kids with a lot of reps back there, and I think that's showing. And the way they're being coached. Okay, I want to make sure that point is well received by everybody who watches this. With Ray Smith and Rory Mannering coaching those kids back there, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm around this program a lot in the past 10, 12 years. I have not seen kids coached like those kids in a long time. We're talking about Ray Smith and Rory Mannering look like 2 guys that are coaching in a semi-state championship game in November in high school football. They are coaching for their lives with these kids. They're teaching. They're going through a progression. They're enthusiastic. They're demanding. They're loving. They got all the skill set to be a great position coach at this level. So it's really neat to see.
Chris, who do you think is going to start in that secondary?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be Yates and McLean. We'll see who starts at safety. They've moved some guys around. I think it's still open battle. I think they're rotating so many guys through. It's hard to say at this time, but I think we have two of them. I think definitely with Yates and McLean for sure. So, and those guys are two great cover kids. So,
and then we've got to ask you about the O-line. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but 1988 to 1991, you played for the Ball State Cardinals on the O-line, if I'm correct.
Correct. Yep.
And never had a losing season. So, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you. What's your thoughts on the?
So O-line is the straw that stirs the drink, guys. Right? We know that. It doesn't matter if it's Pee-wee, middle school, high school, college, and onto Sundays in the NFL. The O-line is the straw that stirs the drink. Without the O-line, nothing else goes on the team. They have about, I would say, 7 to 8 kids that are going to start, that can start and will start on this O-line. One of the things they're going through now, and I've talked to Coach U about this, and I've talked to some other guys who, I took a former high school head coach. He's a head coach in Indiana for Lance Scheib. He went with me on last Saturday of practice. And one of the things we talked about was their O-line struggling. One of the things, the reason they're struggling a little bit on O-line right now, and this is going to get shored up in the next 2 days. I promise it is. And what that is they are cross-training guys left and right, okay? They've got guys that should be playing tackle that are also working in a guard and center. They've got guys that are playing guard and center that are also working at tackle and guard and center, and they're playing left, right, in the middle, So what they're doing is they're finding out who can play. And then in the next probably 4 or 5 days, my guess is they're going to put the puzzle together. Coach, you and I already talked about this. They're going to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and they're going to make sure that they've got the right pieces in the right spots for a Saturday afternoon game against a Big Ten team. So that being said, I think what you've got is you've got Cole Mosier, you've got a kid, the Otto kid from Boston College, you've got the kid from Purdue, you've got Chris Hood, Zach Bandy, you've got Tristan Cook, you've got 4, 5, 6 kids that can start right today. So if we were kicking off today at noon, probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 kids that can start and will start. The Hayworth kid's probably got a chance to play a little bit. He looks great, moving well after a little bit of an injury-plagued spring. Obviously, Tristan Cooks was going to start last year before he got hurt. So my guess is you're going to have the kid from Boston College probably start at center with Cole Mosier at guard, and they can flip at any time. Understand that. They can flip any time. At tackles, you're probably going to have Tristan Cook and Ethan Hood. And then I can't remember the other kid's name, the kid from Purdue. And they've had Aaron Roberts in there as well. I mean, they've got a lot of kids in there that can play. So so what my point to that is, guys, is that they're doing all the right things. They're training their kids to play multiple positions, because don't forget, O-line above any other position, that's a position of attrition. If you guys follow what I'm saying, I don't care who you are, you're going to lose a couple of them at some point in the season. You just are. That's a physical, tough, demanding position. You're going to lose 1 or 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. We saw that last year. We lost 4 of them at one point. So I guess my point is that you're going to lose so they're training these kids to play other positions. So when a guard goes down, just because a kid's when you say a kid's just a tackle, well, then he can also play guard if he needs to. So they're doing that right now. What comes with that, the residual effect from that, is that you're going to have kids playing out of position just a little bit. But the good news is we still have 2 weeks to go.
Right. Yeah. And that's a great point that you made about how you're almost cross-training them right now. The few years I worked up with the Colts, you would get into games and you might be down an offensive lineman or 2 going into the week, and someone gets hurt and you're like, I don't really have anybody left of this, but we have one guy left. And if he gets hurt, I don't know what we're going to do. And college is even different because you can't really backfill throughout the season. In the NFL, there's free agency throughout the year, but in college, if your guys go down, they go down. So you got to be able to play multiple spots in college. So that's actually a very good point that you brought up there.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You got to find a guy that's in that room already, because nobody's transferring in right now. Right? It ain't happening. So you got to find a guy in that room that says, okay, he can snap the ball and play there. He can play right guard, left guard. If we need him, he can play tackle. You got to have a jack of all trades for that. So, and that's what they're doing right now. So, like I said, the side effect of that is there's going to be some struggles with the continuity and the chemistry and how they make their calls, because some guys are not doing the same thing they do every other play, right?
So, Jeff Knowles is back, defensive coordinator, back from the Mike New regime to now. What can we see or expect that would be different from a defense that kind of struggled a lot last year to this year? What can we expect, to see differently from this Jeff Knowles defense?
Yeah, so I think we talked specifically about this in the spring when we were all together. What you've got a lot of guys who had reps last year who played in games, who are hearing the same terminology, the same verbiage. They're hearing the same calls, the same blitz packages, the same stunts, the same coverage calls. So the familiarity, I struggle with that word, is really is almost second nature for them, right? You've got a kid like Joey Stimler who played every game last year, who played almost every down last year. He's in his second year of doing that with the same terminology, the same verbiage, all that stuff. So that stuff has almost become second nature. And like a kid like Joey Stimler, we talked about in the video podcast that Mick and I did with him this summer. He's treating this like he's never learned it before, right? So he goes into those meetings with Coach Knowles, and he takes his notebook in and he's writing everything down like he's never heard it before. But yet he actually had 850 reps doing it last year. So he knows what he's doing, and that's translated. Jack Beebe did it all last year. He knows what he's talking about. Caden Johnson, he was in on all those meetings. He knows what he's talking about. Darren Conley, Scott Hudson was in there for all those last year. Eric McLean, Whit Yates, they were all there last year. So the familiarity of all the calls and all the checks and all the schemes has translated into a very fast, physical, confident, instinctive defense, right? So when Coach Knowles calls a defense, those kids know, oh, we've done this a million times. We did it all year in practice, all year in games. Now we're hitting into what amounts to about the 5th month of actually playing football since spring ball started, and they're actually hitting the ground running, knowing when he calls, Jet 2 Panther. I made that call up, by the way. When he calls that, they know, oh, I'm doing this, and I know where that guy's going. I know where that guy's going, and I know what the back end is doing on that coverage. So, that verbiage, the terminology, and all that has increased their instinctiveness and how they're able to run those plays. Whereas last year they were kind of new with new verbiage, new terminology. So maybe the hesitancy causes you to be slow and uninstinctive. Now it's the exact opposite, the polar opposite.
Yeah, if there's any Purdue spies out there listening right now, Jet 2 Panther is not a real play. It's not going to help you out.
And the best part of when I say stuff like that, it doesn't matter. When you coach long enough, you can give the other team your script before the game, right? And I've known coaches that have actually done that, have dropped one by the visitor locker room and just see how the other team reacts. Because A, they don't know what you're talking about, and B, it doesn't matter if you tell them what the play is before the game, they still have to stop it. Right?
Yeah, true.
You can walk up. There's been times before you can walk up the line and saying, "We're running it right here." It doesn't matter if you can't stop it. You can't stop it. So,
yeah. So. Chris, speaking of stopping it, one thing I've been dying to see from the Ball State defense is QB sacks, QB pressures, QB hurries. I feel like we really haven't had a lot of D-line success these last couple of years, and I'm just curious if we're going to see that this upcoming year, and maybe who we're going to see that from.
Well, I think you'll see Darren Conley as he's moved inside. Okay, guys, along with Scott Hudson and some of the outside kids that are going to play with them. Nathan Voorhees. I'm going to need to say his name right. I got corrected on that the other day. It's Voorhees, if I remember correctly. Kids like that who are going to give pressure up front, right? Pressure sometimes for the lay person, for the person that's watching Sunday game, watching our college game, and is not directly involved in a program or maybe hasn't done it. A lot of time pressure has nothing to do with the guys up front. Okay. A lot of times it has with the back, pressure has to do with the back end, right? So are your linebackers and your DBs and their drops and then their coverage, are they providing good enough coverage that you get time to get past the O-line, right? Correct. So a lot of your pressures are directly related to what's going on the back end of the defensive scheme. So with those guys more experienced in the back end, I'm talking about linebackers, snipers, and DBs, safeties, and corners. It's going to allow kids like Darren Conley and Nathan and Scott Hudson and some of these other kids, the Vaca kid, to beat O-linemen. Because on every play, I coached O-line forever. I played forever. You always tell your O-lineman this: that guy across from you, he's a better athlete than you. He's bigger, he's faster, he's stronger generally, right? Mm-hmm. And he will beat you. You always tell your O-lineman he's going to beat you at some point. You're not going to block him the entire play. And because it's easier to get off a block than it is to actually block somebody. So they're going to beat you. Give them time with good coverage behind, and you're going to get more pressure. So, Colin, what I totally love that question, because you're fed right into what I was thinking. Better pressure equates to better coverage and better drops into your coverage zones, right? So if you got a cover 2 call or a combo coverage where it's a 2 on one side and 4 on the other, whatever you call it, cover 3, man, whatever. If they're covering great on the back end, those D linemen have time to get to the quarterback. So I think you'll see more of that. I do believe that, guys. I do believe you'll see more sacks, more pressures, more hurries because of what we have on the back end.
And then, Chris, one other thing I wanted to ask as well. When you're watching the practices, who seems like they're a team leader? Who's the outspoken player that's yelling at everyone? Who do we think will probably be a team captain? What are you seeing in that area?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. It's going to be Kyle. It's going to be one of them. I also think Joey Stemler is going to be another one. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Beebe's one as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Ty Robinson. These are guys that are vocal. Two things: vocal and demonstrative. What I mean is they're physical leaders and they're also vocal leaders, right? So you can have two types, and there's other types of leaders, but are guys going to model through their actions, or they're going to model through their words, right? And I think with those guys, that's, if I had to guess, those are probably going to be your captains. And I don't know how Coach Yuga does it, guys. I don't know if he does a vote with teammates or if the coaches just decide. Honestly, I don't know how he does it. I haven't even asked him that. I probably need to. But I would probably guess Joey, Kyle. I would say Ty Robinson, maybe Jack Beebe, Darren Conley for sure. Darren Conley. I'll tell you guys a fun story. So that's a great question. So I think it was Saturday morning. I was watching the defensive line individual drills, and one of the younger kids, and I forgive me, guys, I can't remember exactly who it was, but Darren, after the drill was over, the D-line coach told all the kids to go get a drink. Darren Conley grabbed a younger kid, and took him over to the corner and worked with him for about 3 minutes on a technique, right? And I haven't seen that, boys. I haven't seen that in 4 or 5 years they've been programmed. So again, not to knock, I will never knock the previous regime, but I had not seen that. Darren took that kid over in the corner, worked on a technique real quick, then they went and got a drink after everybody else had got a drink. So that tells you right there all you need to know about Darren Conley. He's a leader.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. Obviously having good coaches in place is always going to be, the first thing, but having players on the team who almost even act as coaches as well, and really going out of their way to make sure that they're helping not only themselves, but, their teammates along. Mm-hmm. Always, everyone, the team going all in one direction is what we want here.
Hey, and you've got that. We've got that. It's the first time I've seen that in a long time there, guys. You've got everybody's pulling the rope together. It's really neat to watch. It's super exciting. Yeah. And that sounds so oversimplified, but it really is neat to watch with this team. And you see the coaches. I talked about Coach Mannering and Coach Smith, but I see guys coaching at every position, and I hadn't seen that in a few years. I see an O-line coach that is incredibly engaged, taking it really personally and how they're doing in every single drill, every step, every hand placement. I see a quarterback coach that's constantly teaching. I see a running back coach that's just balls to the wall, getting after it with his kids all the time. It's just pretty neat. It's something we haven't seen in a while, and I think something this program deserves. So Jeff Mitchell hit a home run here, boys.
There we go. So we had Jeff on last week. I meant to ask him about his hirings of people named Mike, basically Mike Urimovich, Michael Lewis with the basketball team. But anyways, I want to pose a scenario to you, Chris, and you tell me what you would do here. You're on the tee box tomorrow. Somebody they add an extra person to your group. You're on the tee box. They come up to you. They ask what you do. You say, "Hey, I'm the radio analyst for Ball State football." They ask you, describe Ball State football to me in a few words. Someone who's never seen Ball State, someone who maybe hasn't seen them in a while. What can they expect from this team this year?
Great question. I thought about that all day. I thought about that. It's funny. You and I must be thinking on the same page. You're going to see a tough, physical, demanding, in-your-face football team. You're going to see a team that there's not a lot of quit. They practice hard. I have not seen a college team practice this physical and this demanding in a long time. And I went to college practices for 25 years. I went everywhere. I saw teams practice. I've not seen a team get after it like this. And I know that he says this. If you don't do it on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're not going to do it on a Saturday. And that's how he's treating this team. They're going to be a tough, physical, disciplined, demanding football team. What I mean by demanding is they're going to demand the attention of the opposite side of the ball, and they're going to get after you start to finish. They want to be physical, and they want to be able to finish games. That's their goal. Whether that translates into wins and a great record, or whether you are going to know you played Ball State football. And that's what he wants. And I see that in practice, the way they transition from drill to drill, the way they get after it. They will hit the ground running. They'll go from individual to a team or an inside run type period, and they are getting physical right now. There's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of talking in between plays. The constant physical activity of getting after it and getting somebody's face. I saw a little bit of chippiness, which was awesome. I love seeing that this time of year. It's really neat. Let it escalate, right, and then they'll temper it back down. But what I see is a physical, demanding team. That's what a guy joins me on the tee box this morning and says, tomorrow morning, I don't know anything about Ball State football. Yeah, they're going to run it down your throats, and they're going to stop the run, and they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you. Not in a bad way, right? Mm-hmm. Sunday morning, you're going to know you played Ball State football. I believe that about this team.
Ooh, that needs to be a shirt. Sunday morning, you played Ball State football. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, all my years working with Ball State, working a couple places in the NFL, those training camps are long and they are hot, but it's always better when there's a fight. Those are always the best days.
I love it. It shows that they care, right?
Oh,
Guys are taking it serious. It's important to them, right? It's important. Yeah. There's value in that. Look, don't get me wrong. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen when I see two football players fighting. You're not gonna hurt each other. That's not the point. The point is that it's important to them. It's important to them, and I love that. That's what I love about it.
I know Colin had a couple of things he wanted to talk to you about your prep for this upcoming year. But before we get to that, yes. Colin, did you have any other questions for Chris about what he saw specifically with our team here in the fall so far?
I do. Just one. I went back and watched our first two interviews with you, Chris. And on one of the questions I asked, what did you think the weakness of the team was going to be this next upcoming year? And I think you touched on it a little bit, but at that time you said offensive line and tight end. So I know the O-line, I think, is looking better, but do you still believe that to be the weakness of our team currently?
Well, no, I do not, and I'm not trying to skirt around this question at all, Colin. I really am not. But I'm not sure there's a weakness. I know that there's a position right now that is not as strong as other ones, and that's O-line. Okay, that sounds like a cop out. It's really not. They just haven't gelled yet. They just haven't got there. He will get them there. Between Coach Barr and his mentor, basically Coach U. Because Alex played for Coach U at North Carolina State. Mike was his O-line coach at North Carolina State, and he's brought him along with him as he's advanced through his career. So between those two, I think the O-line will gel together. They're definitely the weakest they're the weakest link right now. That's it. Tight end has righted the ship. I'm just going to tell you right now, Coach Chase has righted that ship, and that is. I think that's just through the growth of about two or three guys and a couple of them being transfers. That helped, obviously, and the position move by Jackson Constantine as well. So I think those two positions will come together. It is not uncommon. I said this earlier. It's not uncommon this time of year for O-line just to be god awful. It really is not. I mean, I can remember I remember one year high coaching at a 5A school, and I think. We went into our inter squad scrimmage, or not the IHSA scrimmage the week before, where you scrimmage another team, and I swear to God, I thought we were going to go 0-9. 0-9. we went 14-0 that year, right? We went all the way. So it happens, right? It just takes time. It takes time. So what I think is you have a smart enough coaching staff who knows X's and O's well enough and how to prep for this stuff that. They're going to tailor their first week game plan on what this team does, what that O-line, what that position group does well. Like, they're not going to run anything they're not capable of. So I think that's a great question. I think that the O-line will get righted. They're definitely the weakest of the crew right now. And we have a kicker. We have a kicking battle going on right now, right? I'm not sure they know who the kicker is yet. And that comes from the head coach's mouth. That came directly from the mouths of Babes. They're not sure. So they're working these guys to death trying to figure out who's going to be their kicker. And it might be more than one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on to prep. Thanks for that answer, Chris. On to prep.
Yep.
Last year, you watched about 5 hours of Missouri State ball before week 1. Have you had the chance yet to watch UNLV and or USC with the coordinator film in advance for the Purdue game?
I have not, and only because I've been really busy with work. These are all excuses, boys, so shame on me. No, I've been really busy with work, and then I have this golf trip this week. I will be in there next week, though. I promise you that, a couple of days. I already talked to their director of ops, and he got permission from Coach U. I'm given full reign to go in there and watch film whenever I want to. So they won't give me remote access, which is fine. I don't deserve that. I haven't earned that with them yet. So I will go in next week, and I will probably sit down one morning and just watch 3 or 4 hours of UNLV and I'll do some research and figure out what else they're going to run. I'll figure it out. I got a buddy on the staff over there at Purdue, so he'll give me a little bit of he'll give me a little bit of a clue, a lead, so to speak. So he'll show his cards just a little bit. So, but I will watch film. I will get myself 4 or 5 hours of that game ready to go. So, so as far as my prep goes, I've gone over their roster 58 times. I've got my notes sitting on my desk right now. Yeah, I mean, and I've got insiders over there as well. So if you're watching this, Purdue fans, yes, you guys know I'm buddies with one of your coaches. So, so
Chris,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I got some Purdue questions.
Yeah.
So other than Maccabee, who we know is a stud for them at running back. And then they've got the transfer Nitro Tuggle at wide receiver from Georgia. Then they have that cornerback Taj Rael, who also leaked the playbook to Owen, Josh McCown's son, Owen McCown.
He did.
So other than those 3 guys, am I missing any standouts? And who's going to be the starting quarterback? Is it Ryan Brown? Or is it someone else that transferred in?
According to what I've been told, it will be Ryan Brown. Lock it up right now.
Insider.
Lock it up.
Breaking news.
I am not breaking any news. Everybody knows it's going to be Ryan Brown. He doesn't transfer and then come back, but he's not going to be the starter, right? We have the same situation, guys.
Yep.
We have the exact same situation. He wasn't coming back unless he was going to start for us. So, and he's proven that he earned it. He deserves it. So it will be Ryan Brown. No, there's not a lot of playmakers on that team for what I've been told. Now I'll dive into some film at some point and take a look. And I'm not bashing Purdue. Guys, don't kid yourself. That's a Big Ten team. We're not. They're going to be better than us. You know what I mean? When we kick off, boys, we're not going to be favored in that game. 100%. I guarantee you we're not. In fact, I think it's opening right now at 17, right?
Yep.
So
it's 17 right around that.
17 and a half.
Yeah, 17 and a half. So, yeah, we will not be favored. They're supposed to beat us. There is nobody in this country that's going to bet on us except some of us people that, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not betting. I don't gamble.
Yeah, no.
So, and I value my money too much. So, but yeah, from what I've been told, it will be Ryan Brown. Other than that, Nitro Tuggle, guys, how many catches did he have at Georgia last year? Tell me.
I don't know, probably 0.
Yeah, that's a good number. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, yeah, he's a freak athlete. He's a great player. You go to Georgia, you better be a dude, right? You better be a dude. So they've got some other guys. Look, again, they're Big Ten players. They're going to be really good. They're going to be really good. They're going to be big, strong, fast, physical, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? You know, they still got to lace it up against us, against a really tough physical team that we're gonna roll into West Lafayette with. So that's all that needs to be said about that.
So, Chris, I know you're not a betting man, but that 17 and a half, that's a lot. I think we cover that. No?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of
So yeah, I've got we all right, guys. We all have guys in our circle, right? And they're degenerates, right? They're throwing all their money in on whatever site they use, right? I'm telling everybody, just hammer that. We're covering that, boy.
Got to.
So you have to.
But yeah, like you said, you know, big favorite Purdue. No matter what happens, no matter how well prepared we are, there's a talent gap. There's nothing we can do about it. We can outcoach them. We can outdo this and there. So it's going to be a tough test no matter what we do. But I will say, it might have been you we brought this up with before. Ball State football has been in this exact same scenario before. New head coach Pete Lembo in 2011 against new head coach Kevin Wilson at Indiana. Game there. One, I was there too. I can see it right behind my head here, over there.
I see it. Yeah.
There's the schedule and the ticket from that game. So we've been in this scenario. New head coach Mike Yurimovich, Barry Odom at Purdue, Ball State versus a Big Ten team in Indiana have taken them down week one. So while
IU stopped scheduling us, by the way.
I know. Well,
stopped putting us on the schedule.
They kicked us off the schedule then, and they kicked us off the schedule next year. We were supposed to play them next year, and they kicked us out to play Northwestern. But they don't want any part of us. That's right. That's right.
They're more interested in Kennesaw State and other teams. So
yeah. So
that was a shot, IU fans.
Yeah, Colin. Any last things for Chris before we let him go? It's been great having you on. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit him straight tomorrow. But Colin, do you have anything else?
Yeah, real quick. Honestly, I'm glad IU took us off the schedule with Big Sig over there. They're kind of dangerous. We just need to schedule Purdue every single year.
Every year.
But John, I wanted you to save that photo because, Chris, there's this picture of the Purdue field. And it's the painting scheme on it is absolutely ridiculous. It fooled their own player last year.
So
got them out of a touchdown.
We'll put it up here in case Mick hasn't informed you already. You got to be watching out for this year when you guys are up in the booth.
Yes.
And apparently, allegedly, they haven't changed this. Allegedly, it's the same as it was last year. They didn't fix it. So
yeah, isn't that crazy? And like he wasn't even close. Like
no, look.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I do every game as I walk the field and I look at that. I'm almost like a referee. Don't say referee, Chris. I'm almost like an official on a Saturday. I get there early enough everywhere we go that I go down and walk the field. I do a full lap or two, and I look at everything. I want to see all the color schemes, and I'm making mental notes in my head on how's that going to work out? When I'm 300 feet away, up 9 stories, you know what I mean, or sometimes 6 stories or whatever. So yeah, then I remember that from last year. And one of my really good friends is a Purdue grad, diehard Boilermaker, and I still remember texting him after we saw that, and I'm like, what the F? And he's like, don't get me started. Don't even get me started. It is what it is. But they had a bad year last year. They're going to be better this year. We're going to be better this year. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be really exciting. I'm glad I'm you guys are going to have Mick on next week, and he'll probably talk bad about me and say stuff about me, tell me stories, how he's trying to get me fired all the time. I'm telling you right now, I'm blessed to be in this position. I'm super lucky that I fell backwards into this position, and the fact that I get to do this for just whatever, it's just it's amazing. So
perfect.
Chris, my point in that, just real quick, I know you're wrapping it up, John, but my point in that is please tell Coach U that the reporter is saying they're using that sideline as a weapon. Like now they're going to use that to their favor. Like they consider it an advantage because it's like confusing somewhat. So I just saw that and I had to bookmark it. Like I know what they're up to and we're watching you guys.
Yeah, we're on to you guys, Boilermakers, boiler up, hammer down, whatever. Got a big drum. That's what they got over there. I'll tell you this, Coach U's pretty smart, boys. He's going to have a plan for all that stuff. He will know what's going on. There was no stone unturned in his program. No stone unturned. He knows what he's doing.
That's right. How many holes you playing tomorrow?
36.
Ooh, all right. Go get to bed.
I got 4 days of 36 holes. So
jeez.
Yeah, I'm a grinder, boys.
Yeah, Mick's going to have to pull you off the bus to get up there at this rate. So
always be golfing, boys.
All right, Chris, thank you very much for your time. Chirp, chirp, and we will talk to you again soon.
Chirp, chirp, boys. Love you. See you, man.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, Colin, that was our interview with Chris Radican, Ball State football radio analyst, about what he's seen at fall camp so far. Colin, what stood out to you about what Chris had to say, and maybe what kind of is getting you even more excited that you weren't thinking about before we talked to him?
Yeah, super informative interview. What stood out to me really seemed like some of the weaknesses have been worked on or fixed. Tight end room seems solid now. Offensive line is tracking in the right direction. His, him talking about Kyle Kelly, it sounds like Kyle Kelly's looking a lot more accurate. His throwing looks good. He's running the offense. He's got a good handle of it. I love to hear that. That's making me excited. I need some D-line pressure. I want like a sack or two against Purdue. I'm just going to be honest. I love that he said take the plus 17.5 against Purdue because maybe not me, but a friend of mine might have a little bit of money on that. But it's everything is so positive right now, and I just hope we keep that momentum going and we beat Purdue. That's just everything seems like we're on that right track. It's giving me 2011 vibes, John. It's giving me 2011 vibes.
Yep, true. Like I said, Chris was at the game. I was at the game. That was my first game freshman year that Colin's alluding to, that 2011 game at Lucas Oil Stadium against Indiana. So, hey, crazier things have happened. We could find a way to win this. But yeah, I was happy to hear what he had to say about what we can expect from the defense overall this year. Obviously, a big weakness of the Ball State Cardinals last year. And so hopefully this second year under Coach Knowles they're able to kind of get the ball moving even faster. And there's no downtime between, having to learn all these new verbiage and everything and the playbook. And so with some returners coming back, especially at that linebacking core, I'm hopeful that they are considerably better than they were last year. But yeah. So like we talked about at the beginning of the show today, bonus episode this week. On Saturday, we're going to be releasing our interview with Cade Hampton from the Muncie Star Press. He covers Ball State for them. He's the main person that they have there. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say. He's been to some spring practices as well. He's got some good write-ups on there right now. So be sure to go follow Cade as well and check out all the stuff he has written about the team this year as well. He was good at following the transfer portal, and he's been kind of doing some position breakdowns going on this fall camp so far. And then, next week, Mick Tidrow. And then after that, it's game week. We'll get right into it. So I know the Mick Tidrow week, Colin and I are both going to be remote. So we're going to have to figure that out. But it'll work fine. It'll be a good time. So, I think
John,
that's about it. Yeah, go ahead.
John, it would be wrong if we didn't react to the video that went viral this week.
Oh.
The video of a Purdue reporter posting a drill with the quarterbacks, and I think I'm thinking tight ends. It was just went viral. I think it has like half a million views, getting shredded by IU fans. I mean, they're gonna hate because it is Purdue, but just what I saw there just had me licking my chops.
Yeah,
just really feeling like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, give me a second. I got to pull this up. You did ask me about that. So why don't you, while I'm trying to get this pulled up, why don't you tell people kind of about what you have planned so far for the Purdue game when you're going to be going there?
Oh yeah. So myself and 3 buddies will be there. We'll be sitting behind the Ball State 50-yard line, the visitor side. I don't want to say exactly where, but we'll be close to the front area. I'll be wearing a Ball State of the Union shirt. We're hopeful to, have that Twitter Spaces afterwards, but I'll be there. I'll be watching. I'm going to take some notes. I'm literally going to have a notepad. If they let me bring it in, they should, but you never know these days. I'm super excited for this game, John, because when we were talking to Chris in this interview that we just showed everybody, he has some connection to Purdue. So he says. And he made the comment, and it was kind of just in passing, but it just hyped me up. He's like, oh, yeah, they don't have that many explosive players. He's like, how many catches did Nitro Tuggle have last year? 0. And then Devin Maccabee, the running back, I mean, he's nice. There's no line, but let's watch this. This is just absolutely, my God, help Purdue. They're like Big Ten's Kent State. Rewind that, John. My God.
Now,
I'm coaching,
to be fair, that error came out of nowhere on that play. So be fair, the error came out of nowhere.
We don't even need a defense, John.
Where'd it go? There we go. See, here comes the error right here.
Football.
Boom.
If you do that while I'm coaching, you're taking a lap.
So we have a drop there.
Keep going.
Yeah, so we keep it going.
We're gonna have a bobble.
The guy goes out of bounds here in a minute. I can't believe.
The next one is
I can't believe this got posted. I can't believe this got
posted. Stay in bounds.
I can't
These
believe this
guys.
got posted.
Yeah,
But
what
yeah,
was
it was crazy.
what was the reporter thinking?
I don't know. Maybe he's just used to it. So I don't know.
I should have replied, so you're saying we have a chance. Not just
Yeah.
that. We're covering that 17.5, John. I'm so confident. I've never been more confident than when that video was posted.
Okay. I love it. All right. I think that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back at it here later this week. Everyone will be out there. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us if you think we're going to cover that spread that Colin keeps talking about. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, tell any other Ball State fans that you know out there. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, Facebook, not LinkedIn. Maybe we should go to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all of them. Make sure you're interacting with us. Make sure you follow with us. Chirp, chirp, everybody. Thank you for the support. We'll see you in a couple days.